And we are live, as I say. People in the chat, because obviously I use StreamYard, but a few seconds behind. I was going to say good old YouTube, but it's not good old YouTube anymore. Please just let us know you can hear you can hear me and you can hear Martin. Well, Martin's actually muted. If you can see him, he's got the camo gear on today. If you can see him, just let us know before I do any presentations, any talking, me intro. Just let me know, because we're a few seconds behind. Obviously, you probably got the other one up, the YouTube, and actually see. But hey, it's still got. We said we've got no people in it on here. But come on, guys, let us know. I know it's slow today, but and then we'll do an introduction. Are you just waiting for people to say you can hear because you don't want to keep going? I say yeah, all this great stuff. Yeah, they can hear. Thank you, Gita Hal. Thank you. Loud and clear, experimental. I'll give everyone a good shout out in a minute. I'm just going to do my intro. What I'm going to first do is, everyone was starting last week and saw me with Roots. Roots is no longer here. She doesn't like doing live, so it was really, really a big deal for her to actually do a live with me. I really appreciate her. So Roots, for now, won't be doing it, but please still subscribe to her because she's a brilliant person, brilliant soul, got a great mind. So if she's watching, yeah, you you let me down. I'm only joking. She just please give her a sub. She's really, really great. And anyone that's come over from Martin's channel today because he's just been live before because it's his birthday. Thank you for coming. Hopefully you'll stay. This live show is a mixture of serious, funny, taking the mick out of each other, everything all in one discussion, you name it, it's everything. And that's what I am on my channel. What the stuff that you normally can see is videos, like Martin said before, they're not the production as such, but you know what I mean? It's a mixture of video, me talking and everything. I go really, really deep on certain topics. Before we start, I always get to laugh with Martin on this. A while ago, Martin is obviously Martin Liedtke or Liedtke, however you pronounce it, but I have been referred to as the poor man's Martin Liedtke. So you know what I mean? Some people troll him. Hey, you know what I mean? I don't, would I like some hair? Who knows? So I'm going to share this.
Your head's on upside down.
I know. It's gone. It's just gone. It just grew there instead. It's crazy. Right, I'm just going to show me intro, guys, because this is what I started to do just for the beginning. It's not long. Hopefully you'll enjoy it. Let me just get the right one on first. These things won't we share the screen.
Cool.
Yeah, they call me the black sheep. You know they call me the black sheep. I'm running wild while you're asleep. Trying to call me the black sheep. Always done as I please. I ain't no one's circus queen. As I travel, it's all my own.
Hello and welcome. Welcome, guys. You want answers? I think we are entitled. You can't handle the truth. I can handle the truth because I research Outcaster. And we are live. There you go, guys. Just something I put on a while ago. Just let it get back to the menu. Oh, let me get those bigger. So, guys, yeah. Oh, Roots is in the Roots. Roots is here. So I'll say hello to Roots. Oh, she's a good sport for coming on. And I'm playing a video in a minute. Something I've just made up, guys, because I like to look at the funny side in everything. I try and make a positive out of a negative. Because she decided not to do any lives for a bit because she doesn't like it. I've made a little quick video and you'll see it in a minute. But as you can see, we have a guest today. It's his birthday as well. I didn't know this, but it's his actual birthday. So he's coming, doing a live show with me, sharing his birthday with us in the chat. So hopefully be appreciative of that. And I don't know if you want to wish him birthday because I don't know how many rings on the tree he's got now.
Don't give me the bumps.
Yeah, and I'll put your link in the chat because I know you've got a few channels. I know you've been axed a few times and took down by cyber terrorists and thingy. So I'll definitely put the Martin Liedtke one in the chat and the think tank. People, when we're just going to go through everything. Put any comments you want to say. Ask us in the chat, please. You know. Just put hashtag or anything you want, anything. Just mention anyone's name. We'll pick on it. You know, once me roaming eye picks up on the chat. So yeah, I have to thank Martin for coming on. I've known Martin for a while in weird things because it's strange. I've told people this before, even last week because I noticed his name, how we met. I did a video nearly about just over a year ago about Tartaria because obviously my friend Gloria was into it, and she said, "Have you looked into Tartarian?" I said, "I've not." I said, "I remember the Tartars being brought up. That's all my family was teaching me." So I looked into it, did a video on it, and Martin commented it, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I'll share this, and I'll give everyone, you know, tell everyone to come and watch this." And I'm like, "Who's this guy?" You know what I mean? Because I don't check anyone. Everyone is the same. You could have 1 million subs to no subs. I will treat everyone the same, and very rarely I click on the page and think, "Oh, how many subs they've got?" And I didn't like for a few weeks. And then when I was getting like loads of subs, I'm like, "Who's this guy?" So I clicked on him, like, "Go."
Then you drop.
You know what I mean? I don't get about it, you know what I mean? I'm always researching. So have you done? Yeah, have you done anything today while it's your birthday? I know you said you don't normally celebrate it, but have you done anything?
Yeah, just been as usual. Like, you know, I get a lot of you know, communications and emails, Barbaria to, you know, keep an eye on, and so it doesn't really stop. My life is very strange and chaotic every day. So yeah, I'm always busy. Content, yeah, I work in the night through, and you know, my next post will be up in a day or so, talking about some interesting subjects as usual.
It's crazy when you find the time to make videos on it. It's I used to be like knocking them out every, say, 3-4 days, and then it's weird. It's like you get lost.
You do. You get lost. You need to stop for a minute and have a think about things. This is how I approach it. I'll disappear for maybe a week, and I'll have a think about things and just get it right in my mind before I come back out, you know. But you know, regarding your video that I commented on, when I watched that film, I was like that. My mouth was open. I was like, at last, somebody who actually knows about history.
It's crazy because I always say, and I know you have, and a lot of people in my chat, because for anyone who's just joined us today from my channel, the brilliant chat. People really respect Touchwood, as we say, really good bunch of people, and I learn so much from the chat. That's why sometimes if I do a live, I'm like that. I forget I'm live, and I'm just reading the chat, and it's like people that, well, you're live, so yeah, always learn so much from the chat. And then when Martin did that, I clicked on, and then you learn so much. I treat everything as information for anyone that comes over. I don't disregard nothing. So certain people won't talk about this. Everything for me is on the table. It's just information because everything is connected. You know what I mean? So that is what I do. So like I was saying to you guys, this was just a skit. There's Roots in the chat, who was my co-host, and obviously she never does live, but she really did a live for me. She does really well. She's a smart lady, but she decided she didn't want to do anymore. Even Martin knows, because I bet he was going to ask her.
I watch it. I follow Roots.
He watches, he voyeurs from the back. Anyway, she's not on this week, and I said, so can I just do a little joke while you're not here? And this is what I did. So hopefully people, and then we'll just get on to different things. But I just thought this was so funny. Hopefully I've got the right one on. That's it. Share screen. If it comes up. And here we go. Here she is. So that's my little skit. Sorry, Maz. Let me just get back out with this. But yeah, that was just my little skit at Maz. If this letting me to come out, there we go. Dead professional on this. Stop sharing. Yeah, so that's just my little skit because she didn't come on. I thought I'll do a Where's Wally and I'll do a different picture each week to see where she turns up. You know what I mean? This was crazy. And this week she's in with the Taliban in a little cave in Afghanistan. So you know what I mean? It's just something funny. You know what I mean? And I showed her. She's seen it before. It's gone live, and it's just me, guys. If anyone's wondering what is going on, it's just me having fun, enjoying good friends. And if you can't laugh at yourself or laugh with your friends, you're going to seriously go loopy straight away. So, as I'd like to do Martin's last video. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show what his last video is, and then we're going to talk about it a little bit. This is one of his last videos that he did. Do you want to give it a quick intro? Because I'm going to show a 4-minute clip, so you might already say it, but just tell people what they're actually going to see. It's only the first 4 minutes as well.
Sure. Well, my last video was on my think tank channel for basically I do extras, just little extras in between my my brain splats on my main channel, second main channel, Martin Liedtke. So basically looking at basically it sounds like Olden's world. It's Oldenwald near the Frankfurt in Germany, Western Germany, and it is just fantastic. It's strewn field of these boulders, but there's narratives of a Roman quarry in there, but under close scrutiny, the entire place is covered in dressed stone work and meltage. These stones appear to have bubbling and some sort of melt. So it really does look like this is a melted civilization. And the narrative in the myth is there was 2 battling giants. This narrative is repeated on a lot of these sites that you'll find in the place. There's a few of these around now I'm finding. So super interesting stuff.
So guys, I'm just going to show you a quick video. This is the type of stuff Martin does. He does really in-depth stuff. That's why people say similar type of stuff that we work on. So I'm just going to show it, and then he'll probably disappear soon. But I'm just going to show you what it is. It's 4 minutes, and then we're going to get into everything that we're going to talk about. But I just thought it was nice to just show his last video on what he's done.
Hi guys, welcome back to the Great Flat Earth British Think Tank for another FEB Extra, where we're going to be looking into some extra stuff, things of interest and mind blow. This one was turned on to me in comments only yesterday. Have you heard of the Sea of Rocks in Odenwald in Germany? I was like, no. But having looked at it, I'm like, wow. So I've come to share it with you all. To me, I think it is a civilization that has been melted. First, we're going to just check these images out of this place. There's a bit of a narrative to go with it. It's associated with giants in the myth, in the mythos. But their official story for this incredible place is geological formation caused through a crust displacement in this area of Rhineland. This place is near Frankfurt, and it's a boulder field. The official story is nonsensical. It deals with hundreds of millions of years. But if you take a look into the narrative, they will tell you that there's literally a old world quarry there, and a load of Roman artifacts left over from the Roman world. A load of dressed stone, here, a column. So even in the official narrative, they will tell you it's the Romans, and the rest of it is an unusual strewn, appears to be melted and bubbled boulder field. I'll take a look at it some more now. Look at that. So apparently it's a popular place to visit. You know, they do publicize it as a tourist hiking venue, visit place, but check that out, guys. So they say, you know, millions of years ago when everything was ripping apart, it's associated with Pangea and all of this narrative. You know, there was a cascading waves that brought all of these boulders through in some sort of waterfall that is absent today. Yeah, it's in the same vicinity as all of this, buried in mud and zapped. So This is some sort of Roman column or Phoenician column. Looks to be cast of some sort
That
of
is crazy,
concrete
that.
or cement. But look at these meltage, the porous. We've looked at this stuff often enough now to recognize this stuff. Excuse me. So then it is in antiquity. I'm guessing this is the 1800s when, you know, somebody had painted this bigger column. You know, not sure of the size of this person, same as our child, I guess, but this is the same column in situ 100 or so years ago. And they were going there in the age of Tartaria to visit this incredible boulder field. Oldenwald. It's a bit like Oldenworld, isn't it? But it means stone of sea or something, I think. But there's a few, no, there's another name to the place. I did go looking for this on Google Earth, and I had trouble finding it. But look at that, guys.
I'm going to be showing you in a minute.
It's something specific about the stone as well. We're looking into the crystalline structure a bit as well. It's a specific kind of stone as well, guys. And dressed. Also, this sort of stuff. Pyramids. A melted civilization. Look at the size of these monuments. Zapped. Probably a tidal wave. Mud. Sloop.
So there you go, guys. That is just one of his last videos on his think tank channel, because like he said, he does have a lot.
Oh, interesting.
It's funny, like just looking into it. You know what I mean? It's like
I haven't watched it back, Paul, so I'm just actually like really engrossed.
People mentioned Janus already.
Looking at the
in
second
the chat,
time.
but yeah, we'll have a little chat about Janus. Got to show Janus on the map because Martin wants to see that as well.
Cool.
What I found, but yeah, doesn't that large piece that the one went in situ look like one of them old World War II German howitzers? You know,
oh god, yeah.
You know what I mean? It's so weird. It's like they've tried to carve out fake one to look like that. It's so weird. But at first, I thought it was a bone for a second, and until you said it was like, you know.
Yeah, because most pillars have got chamfers and basically, you know, bits added and stuff, and this is just straight. You know, it doesn't look Romanesque in the slightest, does it? It hasn't got the contours in the sides like a fasces. So, either it's, you know, in their narrative, it's unsculptured or undressed. So I'm thinking that, you know, it could have been a cast for something, like you say. I don't know. It's like a concretey. If you look at that thing close up, it's definitely crystalline by structure. It's not concrete as such. There's like glistening bits in it. So the whole place is like diorite, and as they said, it's a specific crystalline structure to this area that's not like anywhere else. So there's a lot of anomalies with this area as well. It's really interesting.
I know the Romans had cement because they used to make it.
Yeah,
now,
sure, with volcanic ash.
Yeah, have you took it any further deeper than that? Because I've not really looked into it. Does it go back any further than that?
Well, yeah, but you know, I think Rome is actually a psyop narrative in my mind. You know, because you know all of the ancient world share exactly the same culture. So it's the Greeks, or it's the Etruscans, or it's the Carthaginians, or it's the Romans. In my mind, it's a cover story for the Phoenicians, who I think are the culprits for the empire. I think they are the empire because everyone in this realm is practicing or living in some strange Babylonian death cult, and this was their thing. You know, this meeting happened, just not to sidetrack too much, but happened in London in Trafalgar Square. Now, they put a Palmyra arch in Trafalgar Square a few years ago. I posted about it. They put one in Paris, they put one in New York, in Central Park, in all of their prominent locations. Palmyra arch, you know, the doorway, the gateway into Babylon. You know, just to let everyone know this is, you know, what this place truly is and who they worship and, you know, how this place is run. So I think
you just mentioned the Phoenicians. I just want to, because obviously I've not really looked into the Phoenicians because there's enough to look around without ever getting to certain topics. And I know you do a lot on the Phoenicians. Now, when I quickly looked into it, I knew the Phoenicians, if you broke it down etymology, the word means master of the sound. Now, it would make sense that you're talking about the Phoenicians being charged a lot if they're building these ancient structures in regard to sound. Yes. Because if they're masters of sound and magic,
Yes.
Obviously,
Yeah. I
they're
found a
gonna
book
build it.
this week, and I showed it, saying Solomon built his temple using tools of sound. You know, it's just sound. You know,
While you're
technique.
here, I'm going to ask you about that. I seen, not physically, obviously it was online. It was an old Freemasonry Bible on Solomon's temple, and they showed pictures in the temple. Yeah, obviously, how are you going to have pictures beyond, in the temple? But the images they were using were Sumerian.
Yeah.
So that's just like, wow. I mean, is that just like to put that narrative in? Because obviously, there's some people who believe the Sumerians, Anunnaki, and all that. Some don't. Do you mean all information?
I do think there's something in it. You know, to my mind, I think that anything post-flood, you know, because this is a post-apocalyptic society, the last throes of. I think, you know, all of the narratives, you know, if you know how to read between the lines on Enoch or Holy Bible, it's all there. They tell you how this paradigm is run. They come in, they reset the place, they stole glittering civilization. We just witnessed the state of it. And you know, renovated the remnants. And this, in my mind, is, you know, in recent history, not that many hundreds of years ago, all historical narratives that have been given to us have been false. All the history books are just chronologies of royal families and battles that you can't find. It's just all rubbish. I just lost my thought. I didn't know what the question was.
Lost the train. Like I said, I've always been into history. Obviously, when you're growing up, I was young. I was standing. I've told it before. You've heard this, but people not in the chat. I was 12, standing up in class, telling people, because obviously 12, I didn't have the internet then. I'm not saying how old I am, but do you know what I mean? We didn't have the internet then, and I stood in class and we was talking about Atlantis. It's strange how we talk about Atlantis in school, but yeah, it doesn't exist. So they were in class, and this is at 12. I stood up and said, I believe we are Atlantis. And he said, no, if you go off like the scripts from, all the Greek philosophers, it's just outside of Gibraltar in the Straits and all that. But I said, no, I think I was saying more figuratively. It's a bit like a flat earth map and the extra land. I said, I believe, because don't ask me how I knew this or why I theorized it, that we was living in a biodome, because I was thinking, are we underwater? And this was like at 12. I've always been weird, different types of thinking since an early age. History books, animal books. You know, me nan, who was Welsh, so I call my nan and granddad Nan and Tide, which is funny because tide sounds like obviously the river and water movement. And they had all the encyclopedias and all these old books, and that's what I just used to. And I didn't even draw on them. So that's what I was doing. I was also into sport and different things, but I was always into history. It just fascinated me why we didn't talk about certain topics. And just look at today, the curriculum hasn't changed from before my era all the way to now, because you have to have a set narrative to indoctrinate, basically put the brain fog on us to stop us remember. Because like Martin does, he does it a lot, I do it a lot. We research. Research means you actually know what you don't know it, but you know it because you're really looking. So you've locked this information somewhere. So, and it's all within. I mean, it's history's a lie. Martin just said that. We all know it's a lie. But his story is full of mysteries, which are my stories. So we have to find the my stories, the mysteries, because maybe that's more to the truth. Oral tradition is more to the truth. They use our anatomy a lot because they use it as a guide of what is actually going on in this place, because really we don't know. So I want to give a quick shout out to the chat, because I appreciate the support. We've got Suzanne, the Mystery Schooler, Hippie Shake 29, Ghosty 333, Annie Kurtz, Ginger Grain, Simon Foster, Brendan Mitchell, Sonny Pot Carly, Alva Billy, Steve Wheatley, the Burr, Asios or ASOS 781. He's in Wales too. And I think he's watching it with another friend. I'm not quite sure, so I'll behave myself. Martin Ellen, Motep, Steve Wheatley. Who else? I'm not used to having so many people in the chat, so I will go through all it later, guys. Shane Sturgis, Gita Hal, Anna Kurtz said, Annabelle Echo, Experimental Elemental. Carla Webster's in the house, thank you. Who else we've got? And I'll go through it. When I say a name, I'll give you a shout out. Neil Bentley, he was the guy who was actually said, why don't you call your show Friday Night Flockage? And I thought, yeah, I want to have that. And then I just thought, well, people used to say, thank God it's Friday. So I thought, thank God it's Flockage.
Thank Crunchy, it's Friday.
And just come out when it's so dead. Oh, yeah, James Brockhurst is in there.
Yeah, James,
Well,
James. Oh.
Yeah, we got a brilliant chat. Thank you, guys. I'm looking fuddled. I love that. Karen Ann Preston, third party. Thanks, my friend. Stacey Daisy, Sophie Louise Montgomery, Robert McCrory. And I'll also say, oh, QC. Notice everyone comes up now when you say you just about to start.
Yeah.
Andrew, and then Jemima Puddle Duck, Uncontrolled Substance. And then Tinaz 1. Right, guys, what? Like I said, I'm just going to carry on to what we was talking about the Phoenicians, because I'll hold my hand up. I've not really delved into the Phoenician aspect, even though I know how influential they is. So I want to ask you, really into the Phoenicians, what made you look at them the first? You know, why have you concentrated?
The architecture. Well, we were examining, you know, I was like you, I was exactly the same story with you, with me with history and geography. You know, I was stand up in the class. I was exactly the same. You know, the architecture, as you know, I'm fascinated with, but there was two prominent styles, which was the red brick Tartarian style, and the classical buildings, which are our civic buildings with Romanesque columns and look like Rome. So they were spoiling statues, which we recognized as the Phoenicians. Now, if you know of Statue of Liberty, you know, if you look into that, this is basically the Babylonian goddess, Babylon. You know, exactly the same with the, you know, we can find them on the glyphs in Baalbek itself. All of these gods and all of these people that we were witnessing on our civic buildings are in Baalbek, and you can trace them back. Now, if you go from the Bible, you know, I suppose Canaan, you know, Cain goes to the Phoenician lands, Holy Land now, or Lebanon now, and he's a giant. Sets up some sort of civilization. The guy's in that case, obviously, slain his brother, ate him probably. But he goes off and apparently marries an Earth woman and builds Baalbek. And we all know of these, you know, the sacrificial nature and the way they conduct this really strange death cult. So Canaan is the Canaanites can be attributed to the Phoenicians. Now the Phoenicians themselves are highly mysterious. There are two sea people spoken about in antiquity. The peoples that arrived from the east, and the Egyptians talk about these people, these strangers, the strangers from the sea who come in, and they come in like the devil. You know, they possess people, and they're like the white, you know, like the Indians, the North Americans used to say the white monster, because the people were like really evil. So these were the Phoenicians. Now, they came into society through ships, because basically, and cargo, and they've carried on with this traits to the modern day. They own all of the trades, everything, every aspect, the legal system, we're into maritime law, the roads, the shipping lanes, every aspect of our lives, even from birth, you know, birth, like the ship, you know, when in the
talking like this,
out of the canal. No, you come out of the birth canal.
Yeah, the birth canal, yeah.
It's your birth. You know, everything in this place, all of the finance, liquid assets, everything, you know, currency, the current. So everything in the terminology is Phoenician, because we're speaking phonetics. So that just goes to prove that they are the ones who control. How did they get in here? Well, this is something we've been thinking about. Are they from other lands? So because of their like superhuman powers and their mastery over water, and they can reset no problem an entire realm, okay, we sort of juggled and think the idea of they come from the fourth dimension and found a way into this realm. Now, this is talked about in a lot of theologies and religions, okay? How did they get in here? Well, we think through the water. Water has memory. Water holds all of the information. We're made of water. We breathe in water. We breathe out water. There's water above. There's water below. This whole place is water, and it's all just mainly water. So we think that they sort of downloaded/uploaded themselves into the water as a way to find their way in here. Also, a big clue we think are reflections in mirrors, in car windows. Mirrors is a definite biggie in this as well. Of this, if you wanted to say, interdimensional travel. Mirrors at this stage, I think, are a sinister thing. This realm that's looking back at us, is Bacchus, that's their god, and there's something more sinister, really deeper to our spirituality going on with the whole thing. Like this is what's drove me. It's been like on a spiritual journey, trying to make sense of all of the really crazy stuff that has happened in my life that is not supposed to happen in reality because nobody talks about it and it's never in any books. So let's just go out on a quest to try and find out what this place is.
It's crazy though when you see it, because this is what I say about the truth. Isn't it funny? And I was talking to who's going to be on next week, another session on the Nile, but we was talking about this, and I've talked to Emily as well, who might be in the chat sometime, that isn't it funny nowadays when we have the truth? For instance, you talk about the Phoenicians, and I'm just using it as an example. You could pick anything, guys. If you pick the Phoenicians, ask 10 people to research it, I can guarantee most of the people will come back with something slightly different, because your perspective on how you've been brought up, what your interest, likes, hates, well, if it interacts with how you research, so you'll always find something different. And isn't it funny? That's why I was asking, why isn't there now a universal truth as such? Why is there, you for instance talk about flat earth, talk about Tartaria, talk about Phoenicians, why is it people are getting so many different things off one truth?
Well, universe in itself answers the question, because the word is uni, meaning one, and verse, meaning we all sing the same song. So like with academia and most of science, they can't step out of that box of their already set narrative. Same with history, same with the education curriculum, hasn't changed in 100 years. It's still Queen Victoria and all the flag waving and everything else. So I think it's that. I think it's elements of that.
You was talking about Balbat before. I did a video.
Balbat is amazing.
And I found the name of the giant that used to protect it. And his name is Humbaba. Humbaba. And the so-called Sumerian gods built him because he was so-called spiritual and physical ME, which, because obviously I've talked about this a lot, that people are talking about Mandela effects and all this such, but the Sumerians had a thing called ME, and they were a connection to the gods. And they built Humbaba to protect the forest groves, the cedar groves, like the Lebanon and how that is. So it all fits into that giant protecting that Baalbek. And you can see giant stones, everything. So it seems to fit into
it does, That's
what you just said. Now, what I'm going to do, guys, is as a beginning, you might be late. Anyone that's late, Martin, we did a quick 4-minute video, and Martin was talking about the Sea of Stone. And I thought, well, I'm going to try and find it so I can share it with all of us in Google today. So I've got it. I've just got to share it now, and hopefully it'll work. And we'll see. We'll have some, because it's all these Google Earth. I know that it goes. And this is the Sea of Stone that you saw the video on. I'll go to 3D in a minute.
Wow.
Pardon, I've not got the greatest graphics, but there it is. You can actually, it's at a place called Siphon Weissensweg, Lauteral Oden World, what Matt was on about. But if you stop it, actually go to the third person, you can actually pick locations and actually go in and have a look. So you can actually see it is a location.
Ooh, there you go. Nice.
So you can actually go along the trail.
Do the stones get smaller? Because in that one Victorian photograph, they're all sat on what look like small bits of slate.
It looks like it does change.
Right.
From side to side. Will it let me go back without coming out of this? Yeah, you can click on another one.
Wow. It's miles long, isn't it?
Yeah. And it's a wow, because it just obviously like something just, there you go. They start getting more dispersed. There you go. So you go further up the hill and they get smaller and smaller, and obviously the odd location.
Right.
It'll get bigger.
I don't think you can blame glacial deposit for all this.
No, it's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, it's
I
just
mean,
mental.
you come out of it, and let's zoom out, so you can actually see from there. It goes all the way up the mountain, the other side.
It's probably in the trees as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's just crazy. So I just wanted to show you that way because I thought it was interesting to look into, and I just thought, well, I'll show it on the map.
Thanks. I couldn't find her at all. I did look for a while.
Oh, it was a pain. It was a pain. It was a pain. I was like, you know what I mean? I was typing in Oldham back, and
there's a few locations for
Yeah.
the stone. Yeah, I know.
It has it all over the Google Earth. It's like we keep saying, and you saying, it doesn't want you to look. It just wants you to
Look,
see.
there's not even a Wikipedia link on it. There's hardly any information. There's 2 websites on the whole subject. It's just crazy. Just no information on it. I think something so fantastic would be, spoken about. What, a Roman quarry?
I know. I mean, I'm no quarry expert. I've seen a lot of quarries in my time. They don't go nowhere. It doesn't look right for a quarry. But we're not a specialist. But you don't have to be a specialist. People say, "Well, you're not a doctor. You're not a this." You don't have to be. If you're born with natural common sense, which is lacking today, just look at it objectively. That's what I try and do. And you'd have done the same. I've done videos on topics like months before I would have thought, nowhere would I touch. Like ages ago. But just don't have any restrictions, because we'll talk about Janus, because a few people have mentioned it, and I want to show you the map and the thing. I never have found Janus if I didn't have looked into Tartaria, because Janus is key to Italy, Genoa, which are obviously the Venetians' arch enemies, or were they? And they had the same flag as England, and we'll get into this. But like I said, I just want to get it on Google Earth first. And actually, I'll share it, and then we can all see it. I think that one's the best one.
Exciting!
And it's don't ask me how I found this. I've done a video on it. It's in me Janus section, but it's crazy when you're bored for 2 minutes and you're thinking. So there we go. There's the map. I'll just click on it. And we'll start. All you can do is Janus Island, and you'll get the 2. There's one in Antarctica and one in Greenland. So we'll go with that one first.
There
you go.
Antarctica. Wow. Look where this location is as well.
Antarctica. And it's not working at the minute, but there's a little island. I don't know if it was this one in a crescent shape or another one. And that was called, what was it? I can't remember now. It's like Exit Island or Shortcut Island. One of these islands here is called Shortcut Island.
There's also a Deception Island near these as well.
So there you go, guys. Janus Island.
Wow.
Janus has got a gateway. So if you're talking about any type of map, if you're talking about flat Earth or you're talking about hollow Earth, how they have 2 gaps at the side. Isn't it funny that on so-called the map, the ball Earth, you have Janus Islands opposite side of each other, and he's a god of gateways. One of them, because I mean, he's a busy guy. He's like, you can't be doing with just one thing. So if
you had to look at it on a flat Earth map, and how they look, and how
I haven't done that yet.
I might have to have a look. Just see how they line up. Might be something more in it. Interesting to know.
And obviously it'll zoom out, and it's called Janus Island or Janus O, and it's on the opposite side, as you can see. And obviously these guys don't give you a great view. It'll get a little bit better, but it's like it doesn't really want to show you until you come out slightly. So you've got 2 islands, opposite sides of the Earth. I mean, look at some of the.
Yeah, there's a glacier there. Portals. Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? So you know what I mean? How crazy is that? Like the god of gateways, and he's the god, because if you do the research, they call him the god of gods. He's a god of gods. So it just makes you think. Let me just get me back. It just makes you think. And at that time, I just started really going into depth on Janus. And sometimes, like you with Phoenician and different things, you don't want to tell people what you find, because you don't want to be known as there's Blacksheep Researcher, Janus guy. I do so much more, but certain periods you have to just bite the bullet. And there you go, guys. There's 2 islands, even on the globe Earth, each end, and they're both a god of doorways and portals. For me, that is a wow, and you can't get any more.
It's a wow.
You know what I mean? Because it's all in the name, it's all in the spell. They can choose any word or spell to link to call an island, yet they've called it Janus, full well knowing who Janus is.
It's crazy. No, man, they've done it on purpose.
Yeah.
And that location in Antarctica as well, that's mad. In between, in the Saragossa, you know, in the Tierra del Fuego as well, in that pass, Drake's Pass. Oh, that's just mental.
It's not too far from there as well, from the Argentinian.
Well, as far as I know, them islands are there. And, you know, as far as I know, some of the Antarctica, Western Antarctica Peninsula, you know, because it gets seen from, you know, Argentinian ships that are coming through the Horn and go, you know, close. So these islands are down, you know, them are down there. But, you know, we're not interested. Maybe that's the last place you can go, Janus. And maybe there's nothing past it. Maybe there's something else going on past it. Maybe that's the last point.
Don't think people talk about extra land out there?
Ends of the earth. You know, when they say the 4 corners of earth, or, you know, I say the 4 angels, but that's something else. But there is. They say,
slightly off topic, but I want to talk about when you mentioned your video, your live before this, you were talking about World's End. That's the World's End in London.
I know, say in Camden, on the corner of Camden.
Because it got reminded me of the film, thinking, you know, the film with Simon Pegg and that. World's End is actually real.
Gary King is epic.
So that's what made me look into it weeks ago, because there's a World End. It's best they're named after a pub. It's not down there, I believe, the pub, but there was a pub there called the World's End in London. It's not far from what was some flats that burnt down not long ago?
Grenfell.
It's not far from there, and that Chelsea region and Battersea and all that in that region. So it's crazy, but wow. I mean, can I ask you a question? Do you sometimes, when you research and you find new stuff, do you think, is this real what I'm finding?
Yeah, but I asked for clarification from the Most High, and within a day or so, it's like, well, it's just beyond a doubt now, so I can't doubt it. And do you know when things are true, it resonates right through you, then I know it's true, so I just go with it then.
I'll tell people, I mean, I'm not ashamed. When I find something and I know it triggers an emotion, I start crying.
Yeah,
I just flood, and I keep getting that lately. And when you first onto this journey, because obviously I've been behind the scenes, I've only been on YouTube for just over a year. I was basically just researching it, and I thought, you know what, I have to bite the bullet. I don't want to be on screen. I hate going on screen, but if you want your voice heard, you have to do it. So I started that channel up, and I think I was about 200-300 subs or something like that. And then obviously you saw that video, and then it started to go up. And that's when I first felt the power for good of YouTube, of sharing your voice, getting the people in numbers. That's why I always say to people, if you ever need a mention, just please, I'll mention your name or anything like that, because you need the boost. We're bombarded daily from the negative energy, from the evil in this world. So we need goodness from people having your back, saying, you know, because some people are not for channels. You know, I mean, there's some people in the channel.
No, I've helped just the channels. I've been doing it for 5 years since
it's them in the background saying, come on, Paul, we like that video, and it gives you the energy. It's crazy. So never doubt what you do, guys. If you don't want to do a channel, don't. But if you support people like you have on my channel and like you do on mine, it doesn't go unnoticed. You know what I mean? So I'm really, really thankful. So let's what was I going to talk about? And I wanted to show this because you was on about Phoenicians and the crystals of the stone. Let me get the earth off now, and then it won't slow everything down. Where is it on me? It is. I'll get it up ready, and then I can share people. And me dial-up computer doesn't look so bad. For some reason, when you click on pictures, sometimes it looks like it doesn't want to. And this was like in regard to one of the last videos I did on the Great Vowel Shift, which we'll mention because it's interesting and tied to obviously the Phoenicians. You know,
sure.
Here we go. I don't know which is the best screen, but I will do that. It's just a little quote, guys. Not quote as such, but you can see architecture is crystallized music, Johann Wolfgang von Goethe. And obviously, when we're talking about how the cathedrals or cathedrals and all this, and we're showing about melted stone, and you guys know I've done videos on crystal and crystals. Basically, our skeleton is 63% skeleton, is crystal. It's everywhere in our bodies, so we resonate, and that's why it resonates. And they're talking how architecture is crystallized music. So that talks into a lot of things that, you know, we are talking about today. And I just thought it was wow when I seen that, because obviously I've done a video about the Great Vowel Shift, and I'm open and as such. I believe in, I don't know what Martin will say in a minute, but I believe there's different types of reset. I believe there's a biblical, which is classed as acts of God. For instance, if you're in an insurance game, an act of God, you know, tsunami, flood, war, whatever, acts of God. I believe there's acts of God, which is biblical. You have biological, which is man-made. I believe like smallpox, the plague, the Black Plague are all man-made. And then I have war. But now, through research, I found another one, and it's called the Great Vowel Shift. After every reset, they changed our language, because from my research, it might be slightly different because I've not watched every one of mine's. In Gnosticism, they talk about the 7 doors, and each door has an archon or an angel. Who's the god of arches and archons? Oh, some guy called Janus. So it tells you if you don't master the words in this realm, which is Earth, you can't get through each gate. So if we have a reset, is it resetting our mind? So they have a reset, kill a few population off, then bang, indoctrination will make them forget who they are. And now we're researching, trying to find all this. So the Great Vowel Shift was a period from the 12th to the 18th century. Just look at all the stuff that was brought in that time, which we don't even know what year it is really. So we can theorize there's so many years took off, there's this been took off or added. But it's just mind-blowing that now language is another reset tool. And obviously you probably, you know, go on to that and say, yeah, different religions have done different things, and it's always been happening.
No, I agree. I literally had a buzz thinking about it then, but I think you're definitely onto something. Definitely onto something. Like with the phonetics, the whole of this vibrational thing's happening with the words, and it's, you know, how it changes this structure of this place geometrically, and like you say with the crystals, with the vibration, you know, our words have an impact.
Yeah.
And you know, Welsh had is a language has been suppressed, and you know, it was, you know, it's associated with, you know, the story of Phoenicians as well.
Yeah.
The Hebrews actually thought to be the Celts or the Welsh. So they had less harsh Germanic tones, you know, and more vowels, so it was smoother. So it was less impact when, you know, when spoken. So yeah, I think you're definitely onto something with the language. I feel now this one may not be a physical reset, like you say, non-physical, physical resets. Everyone is aligning spiritually with the same information. Everybody is getting on the same buzz. Okay, plain white, everybody, and then all of this carnage comes down at the same time as this great awakening. Anticipated. Everybody knew back last, say, December, that 2020 was going to be something big was coming. Everybody knew it in their souls. You know, they were sort of preparing, if you like.
Yeah.
So I think that, you know, as for a physical, you know, reset, as in a giant mile-high tsunami coming in from the west, taking out everything and volcanoes and everything else, or a comet. I don't actually think that they'd be able to. No, I really do feel this is the fall of the empire. I think that they're done and dusted. Everybody, even common folk, now know how obscene the powers are and what they are, you know, and that goes for the things that the royalty have been up to and the whole aspect of society. Everybody knows. People are complacent. They got to go through it because of their lifestyles and that. Don't want to rock the boat. But the fact still remains. I think this narrative now has been ongoing. You know, I think they pulled something like this before. I think that's some of the evidence we look at for empty streets. Are they all missing because they are all dead? How did they all die? Like you mentioned smallpox earlier. You know, there's a link that I read about in the book saying that actually smallpox was an after effect to a vaccination had it earlier. I thought, that actually makes more sense. You know? Things lay dormant in these vaccinations, and I think maybe they could be activated, you know, electromagnetically. Remember, you know, they can put electromagnetics through our minds, and alter us, alter our physiology, alter everything with us, which is a frightening prospect, but it can be counteracted. It can be counteracted.
Yeah,
no doubt about that.
Just, if people's in the chat wondering what I'm on about saying a great vowel shift, you have to break it down. The word vow L. So you're talking about a vow to God. So they're talking about how the great vowel shift, the shift in gods, and the shift in how we speak. They made the phonetics. They changed how we speak, and we know spells have power because when you speak, that energy it affects the medium all around because it's all liquid, it's all gas, it's all water. You leave in cymatics. So you're leaving sigils every time you speak. That's why when you, Martin, or you guys in the chat walk into a room, your hair goes at the back of your neck because it's picked it up. It's picked the bad energy in the, you know, because they say everything vibrates. So that, you know what I mean? That's what they say. How can we prove it? We just have to go what they have until we get it. So if everything vibrates and you do your spell is trapped inside the thing. So your energy is kept. So that's why when you go into a room, you can feel if it's really negative or really happy. You walk into a room, you smile. Oh God, you're the light of the party. You know what I mean? People feel it. That's why they don't want us to touch each other because, like asking, it's porous. The energy, the electromagnetism. You're talking about we can heal people not just with words, but also with feeling. We're hugging people, hugging the person.
Emotion, yeah, I know. Look how they're cutting people now. You know, everyone's supposed to stay in, and then when you need that electromagnetic response or that emotional response from other human beings, you can't have it. You're denied that because you can't see the person's face. Just eyes without a face. You know, it's just. I can just see what they're doing. I can see spiritually what they're trying to do. You know,
What if these old pictures with just one person or two people are them days quarantine like they're doing now? And there's a picture.
Yeah. I already thought it and already suggested it. And you know, these things are in the narrative anyway. I think that could be a factor, definitely. Keep people in. They're doing it now. They might have done. I'm just wondering how communicationally this could be carried out on a. You know, I can't imagine. You know, everywhere in this map I'm looking at is locked down. You know, or on the verge of being locked down again. So everywhere, and everyone is to stay in their house. Like that makes them safe because the germs are outside, and the air outside is not the same air as you breathe in your house.
It's not waiting at the gate for you when you leave the house.
Hermetically sealed in my house.
It's crazy though, but if, for instance, anyone in the chat knew, they obviously have not seen my content, but we know the first city or town in England to be re-locked down was Leicester. True. Leicester is the only place in the UK that has a Janus temple.
Interesting.
I made a video on it. It's the first town and it has a temple to Janus in it. And I've looked everywhere else for a Janus temple and I can't really find it, but this is the first in record. If you type Janus temple, it's a Jewry wall. It's part of the Jewry wall and it's called the Janus temple. So that was the first place to go in lockdown because I believe, my theory is it's all to do with Janus, the year 2020, which is duality. We wear a face mask to cover your face, make you two.
Yeah.
So, wow. You know what I mean? And everything I found to Janus, even in the labs now, I did it on my community last week. In the labs now, they have a device. It's helping them split the blood, do all these spinny things, and do all the stuff that they do. And his name's Janus.
You've got to be joking.
No, the machine's called Janus. So they're having this. One of the first things that they were treating this so-called disease, it's called JAX, and it was like in for cardiovascular stuff. It's called Jack, But if you look into what Jack means, its actual name is Janus. It's a Janus inhibitor.
Well, you do know, right? I just recently watched basically quite a brilliant program. It was made in 2006 called Utopia. Did you ever see that?
I've just started watching now. People have been emailing me.
The virus that kills everyone is called Janus.
Yeah.
And the organization that does it all is called VDI. And it's almost the word. It's like, what? This was made in 2006. And it's all in there. Everything that's happening now, it's in there. You know, shortages of food, demonstrations. Afterwards, the rest comes.
Yeah, it's crazy. People laugh at me when I'm... Honestly, you will find so much tied to Janus, to COVID. COVID was originally called the novel coronavirus, meaning Roman crown disease. He is the inventor of crowns. Janus, he invented crowns. He is Noah, who is the first so-called shipbuilder. No-hide laws, maritime law. It's all bloody Janus. And that is why I'm sitting here sometimes and I'm like, do I tell people all this again? And it's crazy, the stuff that's linked to the guy. He's God of gods.
Together. It all fits together. It's a definite thing.
The secret name for the pineal gland called Janus.
No way.
Yeah. So you're talking about the third eye, the secret, the gateway to where people can go is called Janus.
The portal again.
Yeah. So you know what I mean? This is why I get excited. Not in it's good and evil, but you're talking everything that people are talking about, and I'm saying, yeah, it's Janus. Janus's other name, Cernunnos.
Yeah, I see now. Yeah, Cernunnos. Yeah,
Cernunnos, it's Cern. So his name, he's Cern. Portals, gateways, been open. It's in his name. So you can see how even the name pandemic. He is a horned god.
Pan.
One of the aspects is a pan. So even the pandemic is named after him.
Yeah, I knew that. Pandemonic. Actually.
Yeah. See, you're like, should I tell people? Because people just think, oh my God, he's going off again. And that's why I've done a few videos.
What other personifications has he got there?
Oh, well, his female aspect. He is Kai Bell. That's one of them, Kai Bell.
Bell, again, Bell, the Phoenician thing.
Yep. Cardia. Now, Cardia is named after Cardinal, the cardinal directions.
Right. Cardinal sin.
She's a Roman god of wind. So that's linked in with sailing. And obviously, you have an arse. What comes up your arse but a fart? Wind. You have Janus, Anus, and the wind. That's how it... Even some places, you have to kiss the arse of a statue to go in.
You have Samantha Janus.
Yeah. So people don't really... And there's so many aspects. You've got the X and the Y. Janus was the first pope.
Yeah,
you know
I see that. Yeah, that's crazy.
Well, when you go in really deep, and it's not like just me, I'll come up with this theory. It's people, you know what I mean? We can only research using their tools. I'm looking through their books. But their books state Janus Noah, or Noah Janus. His other name...
I've seen the book. I read it out. I did it on a blog.
Uranus. You know,
I read it out. I was all excited. I even mentioned you in the.
Anytime we say
love this.
I get drawn to, and it's honestly, I'm like, wow, really. And then he's to the Romans, he's God of gods. So he gets January, but he also gets December-ish New Year's resolution. So when they do New Year's resolution, it's to him. The corona came out in the media December. They're vowing. So that's when it got first brought to attention. The first death was January. Right? Every other day, every first month of each month is to Janus. February the 1st, March the 1st, April the 1st. Hit the white rabbit. You say white rabbit on the 1st of every day. White rabbit. What's a white rabbit? Alice in Wonderland. Where's the Alice? It's going down the rabbit hole. The
Alice is out the window right now because that's what this storm's called. Storm Alice.
Yep. And in Greece, they've just had a storm Janus.
CERN, one of its out of his four of angels that are on the magnet. One of them is called Alice.
Yeah, I tried to look into that. There was Alice. There was oh my God, the Roman oracle Adelphi. That's another one.
Aleph as well.
Aleph is another name for one of the portal things. So it's crazy when you look into it and you think, am I seeing this connection because I'm researching it, or is it actually there? And
no, I think when you're truthing and you're on the path, I think reality literally shows itself to you. If you quest and you want to see it, it will show itself. So you do it for truth, you know, truth alone, and it will. Reality, it will definitely show you. So many of these things that we've just thought about, and they've seemed so fantastical. And then just jump, you know, into research. You know, like you say, you know, we pick up PhDs on the subject before we talk about it. You got to, because you know you could have anybody in academia come in, pull you apart. So you need to be on it, and you find that it's all very true. And you see, like you just did with the Janus, you know, exactly the same. It's like your puzzle fits in with my puzzle, and our puzzle fits in, and all of these, like James Brockway, you know, Brockhurst, and other people who contribute, you know, their thoughts, and all of these puzzle pieces, they all fit into one big tapestry. Well, it's all the same story. It's incredible.
Well, that's what excites me, because I'll see a video and their interpretation is off of mine, but it's given me the spark. And that's why I say to people, just watch different things. If you don't like it, you don't, you know what I mean? It's use it. Never discard anything. This is you might have not saw this, but I have a thing in my head, right? And what happens is I have a table. So imagine a table in front of you now, a little circle table with a lamp on it. You put your lamp on, right? All the truths are on that table, right? You can't see it because there's no light on, but you turn the light on, you're shining light on each topic and you can see it better. But if your friends research that topic and give you all the information, and other friends, the light can shine from different angles, taking away all the shadows. So more light is needed. We need to look into things together and find, well, you look into Janus, you look into Janus, you look into Janus, and you'll come up with so much. People will find more sometimes than I can, because sometimes it's luck of the draw on search engines, and some people use different ones, and things just come up. I mean, Janus's other name is Ionos Pater, meaning father, the one father.
Peter, yeah.
Yeah, Peter. You know what I mean? And what did he say when you go to a doctor's or have the swab? You go, Pata. It's the same. It's like the god Pata.
I've heard of that vibration before, yeah. Amen.
Gets you so, like, you know what I mean? When you really go into something and you're like, yeah, I've talked about that, you know what I mean? And some people who are not open, when we go into chats, for instance, social media, or you're on YouTube, you get excited when you see something you like, and bang, you're in, giving in your interpretation. And some people get offended. Why? Do you know what I mean? I know. I don't like to comment too much, because I like looking at everything. I'm not saying I've looked at everything, but I like looking at everything when it comes across my path. And if I see something and I say, look at that there, that's Janus. Should I tell them that's Janus, or should I tell them that's this? And sometimes I don't tell them that. Then that person's missing out on some of the things I've learned. I'm not a big head. I don't know everything. I make a lot of errors. I hold my hand up. I'm about learning. You know what I mean?
Same.
I mean, it's crazy. And people talk about like Janus, and then you talk about Uranus, and then you talk about Saturn and all this. Saturn has a moon. It's called Janus.
Of course it has.
Yeah. And then Janus, actually, in this realm, according to them, was friends with Saturn. Saturn gave him some powers, even though he's supposed to be Uranus and like the god of the heavens. So you got to use it literally, like the information that we find, because how the blue sweet heaven do we know it's real? Do we use our gut, which is our intuition that says, yeah, you're right, or your brain? Because sometimes your brain and your gut fight. Your gut will say, no, that is right. And then your head will, well, I can see some aspects of that, and it's not right. And that's why the battle is when we research, our head and the gut are fighting. You know what I mean? And it's a crazy world.
I think what you were on about earlier with the 7 domes and the 7 layers, you know, they're all related to 7 days a week, 7 chakras.
Yeah.
I think that maybe all of this is just an analogy for our spiritual ascension and process and how to do it. I think it might be a guide.
Me and my friend are talking about the chakras are actually the doorways and the records, and there's your crown obviously at the top, and then they say you have, well, you know what I mean, there's up to 12 in there, and they're out the body. Oh, is it 10? I can't remember now, because there's so much information. You don't have yeah. Well, when I did that video, you've not even saw on the pineal gland, because obviously it was Janus. I found an image, and we have the temple, and there's an image just like where the pineal gland is, and it's like holding it, and it looks like someone's kneeling, praying. So if you think about that, you've got an image of some, organ in your head, and it's kneeling down, praying in between two temples. And
I know what's happening. Yeah, I know. The two hemispheres. But it's Janus has got like female, male consciousness attributations. If I found somewhere in the middle, maybe the marriage of the two hemispheres. But is this same entity's got like good and bad?
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah. So do I.
Because I believe, I know a lot of us do and don't. I believe we are God, human. It's a frequency. Hu was the Egyptian creation. That's just from an Egyptian point of view. So human, God, men, right? If we are God and we have souls in these vessels, right?
Same as ships, vessels.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We are so-called gods. We are incorrigible. We have good and evil. Why will then gods up above not have good and evil?
Exactly
or down below?
what I would think. Exactly.
Yeah, they have to, because they're a part of us. When we make something, even a video, if we make a video, we leave a piece of us in the video. And when we make carpentry or whatever we do in our spare time, you leave a piece of you in it. We were created, whatever way you want to look at it, and the bit of the God, the self, was in us. And we have to find it, look within, find it. You can go any spiritual way that you want to do, up the chakras or into the Bible, anything. I don't discount nothing. I don't call anyone. I'm in it for the information and just to blow my mind away. And that's what gets me away from all this shit. Because really, to me, there's no lockdown. Because I'm always researching. I'm always looking after me.
Same.
You know what I mean?
Great for research, lockdown.
Yeah. I'm like, I'm not changed. It's like, there's another lockdown, is there? You know what I mean? So it's
not that bad.
You know what I mean? It's crazy, and we all get excited. You can see we're excited because we like sharing stuff. I like just going to places and say, "Bang, that's just my opinion. Do you think the same?" No, not really. Well, that's cool. We used to be able to agree to disagree.
That's so true.
Yeah, and we've lost that aspect now. And people get bum tight. They get angry at the slightest thing. They get triggered.
Knee-jerk response if you just burst their bubble in any way. It's just comforting, isn't it? People need their comfort blanket. They've dumbed down the population to such an extent now that they're just like, like cows will come up to you and just, you feed them hay and they're really lovely and gentle and docile, but they're ought to be slaughtered later. It's a bit like that, really.
It's just
where they're just so submissive easily. The British people, back in the day were not so submissive, but most of them, I guess, died off, too old. But yeah, it's down to the mind control. All of us are subject to it. I was wondering, personally, how much I had mind control affect me personally in the past. How many layers have I taken off, and how much more is there to go? Am I still under? Is every time I get these massive happenings and epiphanies and have all these flushes and buzzes that are happening every time I get a layer off, how many more are to go before we break through? That's what I'm wondering.
Yeah, and that's it. If you're honest with yourself, that's what you've got to ask. How much?
I think we know the answers. This is what I was the other night. I was, when you lay in bed contemplating the universe thing going on. Forget that phrase. I asked that exact question, and the answer come back is you already know all of the answers and what needs to be done. I was like, do I? Oh, great. So apparently we know, every one of us knows our place in this, and it's just remembering to remember what our place is in this and what we're supposed to be doing here and what they stopped us doing.
You know what interests me, and I know I'm really, really backtracking it, but it just came to my head. Don't know why, but do you remember June, the original one, the 1984 or 86?
Yeah, of course, with Sting in it as well.
Yeah, well, that's one of my favorite films.
Classic.
Yeah, and it's been a remake now. But as you were talking about the Phoenicians and the magic of the voice, always reminds me that of the Weeding Way. Is that the Phoenician way? When Harry goes more deep, and what I mean?
Yeah, no, you're not the only one to say it. People have said exactly the same and drew an analogy to June in my comments before. I mentioned. Yeah, it's like it's almost based on them. You know, it's crazy. Yeah,
it's just crazy how because people are on a journey and we take different paths, and some days you're gonna veer off the path. I mean, I taught the path as the why philosophy and why it's so prevalent. But if you think about it, it's like the Adjustment Bureau. You know what I mean? Nature always finds a way to fight back, and I believe people dyslexic or something, they're a way to fight the spell, to help people get out. Because if you can't read the spells, you know what I mean? You're breaking the spell. That's why you're dyslexic. And that's why these people who are dyslexic, like myself, have trouble reading the words. Is that a way Mother Nature fighting back, saying, right, we want certain people to break this spell and not be indoctrinated? Because think about it, guys. I've said this before, who's been on my channel. We get taught English all around the world, and you get taught the dictionary, and it's in your head. It's an online dictionary. It's built in your head. So when you say a word of the spells, you are manifesting it back in your head when you're reading it.
Yeah.
So that's why they get everyone to speak English. I mean, ang means incubus and a nightmare. So you're talking the language is a nightmare itself.
Damn,
And
I never knew that.
It's evil.
Oh, that is savage.
It's crazy, isn't it? I mean, it just blows my mind. And for instance, when I first come into Tartaria, I don't go around delving into, because I just go where I feel like I'm pushed, you know, by myself. Something will come, and I don't here and there. And
I'll go wherever the information takes me. I never thought I'd end up looking into the Phoenicians or Tartaria. I started out in Flat Earth. Then I looked into like sort of post-apocalyptic events.
What was your first big aha moment of truth? What topic was it? Can you remember?
Flat Earth for me. That's what made me hit YouTube in 2015. Flat Earth Awakening for myself. I'd already got rid of all the silly things like evolution.
How did you find Flat Earth? Just because I'm going to tell you how I did. I want to see if it's similar.
I was listening to Coast to Coast radio show all the time, and I was looking for a particular show with Whitney Strieber, and I seen like the Earth is flat, and I ignored it. I thought, well, that's daft, isn't it? Well, carry on. A couple of days later, it's there again. I was like, well, it can't be really, can it? But I clicked it, and it was Mark Sargent's The Clues, and then I clicked Eric Dubé and all the others straight after. Followed it all for about a couple of months. After that, I was like, yeah, it's like, it's not a ball. It's not a
mine was similar but different in a way. I wasn't really looking for it. I was watching something about DNA manipulation and stuff like that. I think it might have been Lloyd Pye.
Yeah, Lloyd Pye. I was into Lloyd Pye.
And he was talking about Hollow Earth.
He died. I remember when he died. Yeah.
And he was talking about Hollow Earth, and I thought, Hollow Earth. So when I clicked on Hollow Earth years ago, for some reason, Flat Earth was attached to it. So then, obviously, you started watching.
We all looked into Inner Earth before, I guess. Flat Earth, you know, I did myself, you know, and I was looking into Bird, you know, and his tales of what he's seen when he went through this portal in the North Pole with glistening cities and spaceships, and even the Scottish pilot on his deathbed apparently said all of this went down. You know, his deathbed confession.
You just look like be able to get hold of this stuff, because they'll have it. They'll have everything all wrote down or computerized, but I reckon it's all in paper form, because they love it. It dates back to like what's her name? Is it Sheshat? The one of the person who taught Thoth how to write. She is like, you know, she's got the cannabis plant on her head. That's how I remember. She's like the first scribe, and she was the one who did the chord, like the chord measurement that the Freemasons do.
Chord again with a vibration, like a musical chord.
So that's who got me in. And I found Sheshat. This is no lie. I never heard of her, and I found it in a computer game. Right, and I thought, I know Egypt, because that's one of my first passions. Egypt, Sumeria, the Four River Valleys civilizations. That was my thing.
Yeah.
And I'm like, Sheshat? And I'm like, nowhere. So I typed into, obviously, Google, it was around then, and bam, She was the first scribe. She taught Thoth how to write, and people think it's Thoth who invented.
Well, I don't
writing.
know of any pre-Thoth information. I thought that was, I thought, he just turns up like, out of the water with the emerald tablet in it up for the, for the Phoenician alchemical paradigm.
Yeah, it's you like that, and you like I said, I get excited because I treat it as information. Maybe right, maybe wrong. Who knows? Because they're all history. It's all
There's a
history.
few of these gods like that, concord. When they say like you're in concordance,
Yeah.
So that's what concord. Chord is a vibration. It's a concord. So and concord, the plane, and they say this in concordance in courts as well.
It's forever ago, that doesn't it?
It's all in the terminology. Concordance is one of theirs. Concord is one of their gods, isn't it?
That was just mad, right? What else did I want to talk about? I've got a few things to talk about. Well, that was it. What we talked about. When you talk about obviously Tartarian a bit and a lot, and how it disappeared in the 18th to 19th century. Isn't it funny that it disappeared in the Great Vowel Shift? Do you know what I mean?
It might be replicating the changes of languages as well. Definitely. Latin's disappeared off the face of the earth. There's no, apart from the Catholic Church, hanging back to some, older world language, where there's older world scribes, where how many books are in Latin pre-Renaissance, and this is a pre-reset civilization and nothing to do with us.
It's funny how one of the first king of Latium was Janus. So,
again,
yeah. And he comes from obviously the Etruscans. That's when you first start to get the hearing of his name.
Yeah.
From them, and they're another civilization not many people talk about.
I look into them and I've posted on for a long time, because all of the things that the Romans are supposed to have, or the Greeks, which is supposed to be just a colloquial term for anyone in the Eastern Mediterranean. That's like anyone. They've all got the same sort of, clothes, weaponry, everything of their culture is the same. Democracies with Greece, they're all set up exactly the same way, aren't they? Rome as well.
Yeah. The Rome is Rome. It's funny because I've done a video called "The Island of the Gods," and it's an island called a Tiber Island, which is in Rome, and it's supposedly Noah's ship. I've
seen that. Yeah,
mountain.
Look at words with Roman, like hippodrome.
Yeah.
Okay, which is hippo and a drone at the end, or romance, which is like a trance and a Roman trance, romance. They put this Roman word in words, and you can just see it. How it works into this Phoenician paradigm.
People in the chat are talking about Friesland, and I know you've done a video. You've done a video on that. You've done a video on what I did as well on the island off Ireland that appears.
Hi Brazil.
Yeah, I did a video on that. It's just funny because when you do videos like this, obviously you don't know who makes it, and it's funny because people say, "Oh, well, you've borrowed their information, you took their information." Guys, you not realize we're all connected, and when you have a general thought, you think, "Oh yeah, I'm the one that first invented it." I mean, you're gonna share things. It's just how you you prepare your information. That is you. You know what I mean? It's all information.
On the same path of information. Loads and loads of people. I've always been. I got like the Phantom Atlas and its other atlas, which is just all about lands that are missing. And there's so many cartographied maps of just land masses that are just not there anymore. Friesland's on so many, they got all of the cities mapped, names, where the woods are, where the mountains are. It's just not there anymore. Seems to be some sort of remnants you can see if you look on Google Earth at where this location is in the water. Seems to be the same shape as what Friesland looked like. And High Brazil was just populated by big black bunny rabbits and a mystic on his own, a hermit.
Yeah. I can't, you know what? I can't even remember. I found so-called King of the World lived on there. And also that them black little rabbits were the so-called leprechauns, the black pygmies.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Of Ireland. You know what I mean? So see similar stuff, and we just look at things differently, and sometimes we don't. We look at it the same. It's just how
they're cloaked as well. So you only see them like in Wonder Woman, that Amazon islands. They reach through this thing and then it becomes visible, or like Lost or something. Seems to be some sort of barrier, maybe electromagnetic barrier around them, or something cloaks these places. I think it's what's happening with the lands as well. They're not really visible. If you're maybe on a plane, you can't go near these places anyway. But yeah, it would be easy to cloak somewhere. I think this is what's happening. It's what they say.
That's what got me, because obviously when I'm growing up and I'm a kid, you said to me, for instance, the Amazons, you automatically think of South American Amazons, but people don't realize there was the Amazons in Europe, and they're the ones that the women it's based on, and they so-called mated with Scythians and this is where they get the big women from. So you don't get this if you don't research and look into other topics. If you just keep to one topic, you ain't going to see the bigger picture, if there is a bigger picture. You know what I mean? And don't you just get a buzz when you research? I mean, I have people I talk to on a regular basis, and when you're bouncing ideas back, I will say one thing to someone else, and they'll come back with something else, and it's like, wow.
I know. I mean? Massive buzz.
You don't get it if you don't do it. People like, oh, this is my theory, and I'm not going to share it until
they won't
I'm
get
ready.
anywhere. They won't get any further.
No.
They won't get any further with the information. The only reason the flat Earth British flourished as such was because it was a think tank for all of the big communities to all like share information. People helping me just pick up on all, like you say, the comments, the chat feeds, what people are saying, and all of these bits together just made it all happen. It's everybody. It's a communal thing. That's how it's worked.
Oh, someone's asking the chat, and I do know it, but you might get it quicker. What was the land in Black Panther that was hidden? Oh, Wakanda.
Same sort of thing going on Wakanda. That was sort of cloaked, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Like there.
And they did that symbol, which is another Masonic symbol.
Yeah, but do you know in Wakanda, right? They say it's in Africa, but there's a bit in that film where they show Northern Lights. And in Skull Island, which is a King Kong remake, this is another land that materializes, also shows the Northern Lights. And in Wonder Woman, another mystical land, also shows the Northern Lights. All of them are showing you or telling you that it's in the north.
That's what they say, don't they? From was it now that land past like the Vril thought it was just past Greenland. What was it?
Thula.
Yeah, Thule. Yeah. And that's what they say. Right, guys, I'm not going. But what I'm going to do is I always like to change it up again, and this is just light-hearted crap that I found on the internet. So it's fun. It's not meant to be serious. It's just like, to break it up, because we've had a really, really, really good night. I've been so enjoying it. And this is just a section I like to call the weekly news. And it's just crap I found on the internet. It's years old, but some of them are new. And it's just for fun. So let me get to my file. Should have done it before. Oh, it's come up quick. So this one is driver takes to the streets with an entire greenhouse strapped to his roof.
That looks safe.
A little Citroen C1, I believe, too. So,
he never got on with that still there.
It's just crazy. Some of the people try it, don't they? Oh, yeah. This one I saw a few weeks ago, and I was absolutely laughing me things off. A man blows up his kitchen, his house, while trying to swat a fly, because it was one of them electric ones, and he had a gas leak, and half his house went up.
Fly got his own back.
Yeah, and it's just like, I have to talk all these. That's why I like to just break it up and, have nonsensical stuff to talk about. Right, come on, where's the thing? Oh, it's gone. It's gone. Not wanting to show it. Let me just come back out with it. It's just crazy some of the things people try. Doctors remove a 15-pound ball of hair from a teenager's stomach.
Right.
Eating the hair, as you do.
Yeah, as you do.
Well, I've got none, so that's what I can't blame it.
Yeah, fur balls. The first time I ever seen a fur ball, I thought like the cat was actually doing like a chest burster.
Yeah.
I thought, what the hell is going on here? And then it just went, the hairball. Yeah. Never knew about it before.
Bermuda John Lewis shoppers think of the name of a sofa range and they're calling it Squish Muffin. You want to go buy the Squish Muffin couch? So, get on board and buy the Squish Muffin.
No, I don't even like the look of it.
Oh, no. I hired an escort and my best friend's mum turned up. You know what I mean? What do you do there, guys?
Don't tell your mate.
Oh, this made me laugh. Only in Scotland, I bet. Scott's mum gets Greg's logo tattooed on her bum after missing it so much during the lockdown.
I love Greg's. They're wicked.
So, you know, she gets a tattoo, she's missed it. Oh, there you go. Man with world's largest penis wears it to prove it's real. Right? It don't show you, but he gets the scales out. I'm not obviously going to show you. I believe it goes, and he says here, where is it now? 52-year-old reportedly says it caused him to lose jobs and harm his relationship, meaning he's forced to live alone and forage for food. He told local news website, "Look where it is. It goes far below my knees. I cannot do anything. I cannot work, and I'm disabled. So I want the authorities to help me out."
Poor chap.
I know. I believe it's. He was saying it's between 13 and 18 inches long.
Wow. Now.
Frozen excrement dropped from plane crashes through house roof.
Wow. Holy shit.
Yeah, holy shit. Woman is rushed into emergency surgery after a vibrator gets stuck in her bladder while her boyfriend was using it on her and it was still buzzing. And
the
there
male
is,
sick, aren't they? Let's have a look. Right. It's in a weird way, isn't it?
yeah, it was on a chain as well, I believe.
Oh, right.
And last one, man rushing to hospital after sticking beer glass up his bum. He was forced to operate. Here's a picture of the said guy.
Yeah.
He's actually in the chat today.
Right. Nice one for doing that.
So you can see why he sticks things up his bum. That is that is the weekly news. And I just do it for a bit of fun, guys. If anyone wonders what the hell's going on, you know, I just like to break it up and just have a chuckle. So if me, the guy who it is, guys, in the chat is Steve Wheatley. So if you see him, you know what I mean. Don't tell him. Don't tell him. Don't tell him. Right, let's try and get back to something quite similar. So I want to ask you now, for anyone that's in the chat who've not seen you before, I know it's you how can you not? But have you any tips or tricks you got to you know? I want you to give people tips and tricks on how you research. What makes you find things that some people don't find? Well, if you want to divulge it,
yeah, you got to get a good source. Is important, and my source is me. I spent years and years accumulating thousands and thousands of basically collections and files of antiquity. So when I search, most of it is through them or linked to them, so I can find out where I'm going. And I got like not a photographic memory, but like near thing to it, so I'd be able to locate where I need in my endless bookmarks. At whim to do whatever. So you know, it's like memory, okay? But with like making posts, all you got to do is practice. Practice is the best thing. You know, it's just keep on doing them. I've done hundreds of absolutely terrible posts. You know, everything going wrong, things even blowing up. You know, and I just don't know how it ever put me off. I just thought, nah, truth is more important than my poxy ego. Let's just get on with the show and keep, you know, carry on. You know, suck up the shame, man.
Yeah, that's what I said to people. I mean, I used to, when it's sunny weather and not bordering on autumn or winter, I used to wear some crazy t-shirt just to get people to smile and laugh and think about the shit that's around them. If you can laugh at me, I'm not bothered if you laugh at me, and then watching the topics and enjoying yourself takes your mind just off anything out there. Do it. And like we were talking about before, if you can't find a source, just you have to unfortunately spend hours and hours and hours and hours everywhere. Even when I'm sleeping, I'm thinking of links and stuff. You know what I mean?
I'm going through files in my brain trying to locate, and I wake up and I know where it is, and I've done that in my mind, in my brain, in my Brian, in the night. when I get my downloads. What do you think about sleep then, Paul? Because my sleeps have been really weird just lately since this, you know, next you know, vibrational thing, the shift that's happened. I've been like, my dreams have been like, I'm determined my life really, and I like, one thing I can't get over is why we need to switch off this machine and, you know, switch it off like a robot. I have to, you know, go to sleep. What happens to our consciousness when we sleep? Where exactly are we going? And, you know, these constructs, these things are happening. or astral projection, or astral on the astral realm. You're leaving your body and all of this. The sleep in the last few months has just been just off the radar for me. I don't know what is going on. Other people are saying the same as well. I can have 100 in a night and remember them all. But I think it's like a download, you know, with this informational field that we're in. I really do think that the information, you know, you can think of it in terms of bits, if you like, if you think in simulation, but I'm thinking it's in the water, because water definitely holds memory, and it holds memory of everything that's happened in this realm. And that is in us. So that's how we know all the answers, because it's already in us.
Yeah.
We already know. So it's just getting there. I think what it is with conscious evolution, if I'm sorry to use that term, but consciousness is evolving with us at the same time, and it's driving us forward with this as well, with the discoveries. It wants us to do it, Paul. It wants us to do it, consciousness. It's thriving on it. It's riding it with us at the same time. Don't think that it's ahead of us, because we haven't got there yet. It's with us. You know, so I think that's what's happening here with reality. I think it's waking with us, it's evolving with us, and it will reach its point. You know, physically, they drove humanity down a block end, haven't they? You know, done it. You know, it's just like limited paths for the future that they're trying to tell us. You know, and you know, if you link it together with what we discovered about the past, and you think if history repeats itself, you know, what exactly are we all in for? You know, so. I think that this Great Awakening is unstoppable. I don't think that they could, you know, there's just no way to stop it now. The information's already out there, and millions and millions and millions are already waking up. You know, how many people in the Truther community have said, oh, right, well, they would try a pandemic now when everybody in the world's waking up. Because everybody, you know, how many Truther communities, the whole thing was buzzing back, you know, 6 months ago. And the truth about, you know, history, you know, and everything else is coming out, all these massive discoveries. It's just, it's like everyone was saying in my comments, don't you think they'll reset us, Matt, if we carry on this narrative? It was like, well, not really. No, we need to do what we're supposed to do. You just feel that you're supposed to be doing it, you know, driven. Yeah, that's a good question. Who's the driver? Who's my manic driver? Driving manic.
I mean, to answer your question, I know loads of people who've said, yep, we're not sleeping the same. Sleeping patterns have gone to shit. If you think about it, where do we go? And that's a good question. Do we go leave our body? Do we go to alternate universe? Because there is, lo and behold, Janus cosmology, which is an alternate universe, and it's actually named the Janus universe.
Maybe the shift could happen overnight, like in Dark City. None of us had even noticed. Maybe this has happened multiple times, Paul. Maybe, you know, CERN is associated, or whatever happened in 2012, or when they switched that on in 2008, you know, but it could happen like in an instant or something, you know, that this simulation could change onto another level without us noticing. This place here, this year, is looked. The only time I can ever remember it looking like that is in the 70s, and it wasn't really the same. It's just not the same place, and it's not, you know, not me.
It's crazy. I mean, because if you think about it, as you're saying, we're all water. I've done a video on it a long time ago about water memory, and if you think about it, if you can either go off the Christian or the Bible or the Egyptian standpoint of view, they both say the Creator spoke. He created the heavens, obviously the heavens above and below, water everywhere. And if he spoke, and that spell, which is a sigil, it's left a sigil in us. And that's what we talk about, speaking the sigil.
Christian the same with holy water. This is water, and he says that incantations or words over the water, so it's changing the structure. You know, you can get some water that's super duper holy. You know, they said a lot of stuff over. And then they put that on a cross on somebody's head, and so the sigil is in place in this hologram, or in this you know, avatar. So yeah, they can alter everything with water.
They just feel like we're in pardon, I forgot who it was, but we were talking before we came on in the chat. And are we living in a zoo? I mean, it sometimes feels like. I mean, I said it's like Westworld, because not recently I've just been told to watch that, and I can't believe how much information is in Westworld. I mean, their computers or AI actually want to go to another place. It's like heaven, and they have to go through the portal, the doorways, the gateways. And there's so many analogies in that. It's mind blowing. And
I
you're
know.
like, no way. And I've done a video on that as well.
Yeah, Tibetan Book of the Dead talks of a similar narrative to that as well. These different, sort of like different vibrational realms. Like you go through like a bad neighborhood, if you like, you know, with dark density place.
I bet you've looked into, because I've not yet. I do know of it, but I've never really delved. You know, the Tibetan Shangri-La. Have you ever looked into that? Of
And El Dorado and all these mystical places.
yeah, they're the ones I was brought up on.
Because
El
of its
Dorado.
location. It's Tartarian, isn't it? You know, and it's associated, I guess, loosely with Kubla Khan. You know, Kubla Khan did decree Pleasure Dome erect. Yeah, many people say that this is a dome structure. You know, there's, you know, in my mind, I think in Yellow Submarine that we are in some sort of ark, or actually in what it could be termed as Noah's Ark, and waters above. You know, like projected in from some sort of prismatic Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds reflected TV station like reality simulation in place. And all they can do, like with a television, is change that channel, so we're on a different channel or a different frequency. So I think that's how this thing is projected in. You know, I think that's
Is
how.
Kubla Khan the one who tried to attack mainland China and lost loads of ships? Because that's what I remember was taught. I've never really gone into that and looked into Kubla Khan, and obviously he's was it his father or grandfather, Genghis?
They were all crazy mass murderers. He depopulated hundreds. Apparently, there's that many people living in the steppe at that time. So he's like hundreds of millions of them. And even the coffin of Kubla Khan, when it's carried through Asia, anyone who set eyes on it was murdered. So any village that came up to cheer him, they would kill the entire village because no one was to see him or set eyes on him or his final resting location. It's all really weird, sinister story. But on my map up there, it says on the border for Tartaria, which I thought was really interesting. It says Kingis rather than Genghis, so he's like a king. So again, I think that he's attributed to this whole narrative of kings and emperors and empires. You know,
Yeah,
so
that's
maybe a false narrative. I'm saying.
Right. So I want to talk about this because you were talking about it before about censorship and how this week we've seen changes on all platforms.
Oh dear.
So fire away. What do you think?
Strange stuff happening. I had an email from YouTube yesterday. They'd removed a thumbnail from a video 4 years ago because they said it disagreed with their new Sharona rules. And I've said, well, this is a 4-year-old video. It's talking about flat Earth. I don't know what I must have talked about or what was on the cover. But yeah, it's gone. So that's like years ago. So I don't know what they're going to do about the rest of my content up to this date. I think I'll just for the longevity of my channel, stay away from such subjects. I do anyway, because it's negative intent. And they want people soaking their energy, their precious energy up on a thought form, which is evil. When you shouldn't be thinking about that. You should be thinking about, hang on, what should we be doing? Some productive works and something creative that's going to be good for the new future that's definitely coming. Is what you should be doing. Spiritually aligning and preparing is what you should be doing.
It's just so crazy. I mean, back to sleep. I find that fascinating, and a lot of people find it fascinating. The subject of thinking of sleep. What the bloody hell's going on there? And your memories and things, and what you're actually dreaming. Are they your thoughts? So it's crazy. I mean, going back to my last video, where this is just a book I found, I got past, and it talks about one of the first kings and gods was IA. I mean, you only have to change that around, and it's AI. You know what I mean? So, I mean, even Janus's name, Janus, is IA. You know what I mean? So all these links. I mean, where do we go? I want to see what people think in the chat. So just put what you think you actually think happens when you go to sleep. Are you going to a different reality? Are you going to Are you actually just powering down? Are we in a matrix? Some people believe we're in a
Well,
matrix.
yeah, because I know people, like I basically spoke to somebody who literally jumped out of this matrix, out of this realm, okay? Found himself standing, few men standing around a table with some sort of television screen on it, observing, yeah?
Yeah.
And they walked in and they were like, no, you're not supposed to be here, you're not supposed to be here. Bang, and you went back and popped into his body again and woke up. And he's like, whoa, I just slipped out of the matrix. So there is more beyond this. It's more solid. You know, I'm a lucid dreamer, and I know that there's a realm that is more solid than this. This is malleable, this realm. It's really, really malleable through intent and manifestation and everything else. So yeah, there's different realms. But what's going on exactly is a mystery. Why? It fits in with a simulation, though. If we were thought of as an avatar, and you know, our souls being, you know, a divine energy force that is eternal, you know, then the body itself, the machine, would maybe need to rest. I don't know. If you stay up for days and days, you feel really wiped out. You know, just ill, not good. So you need to recharge.
It's like the change in the terms of people say it's a Mandela effect of the matrix appearing in the Bible as the womb. It's like, it's obviously it's not spelled that way, it's matrix, but it's similar to matrix. It's crazy how these weird things are happening all around us. I mean, I can guarantee someone in the chat, even yourself, have seen weird ass shit. I mean, I've seen weird ass shit. For anyone who's joined me last year, I was going to the shops. I had all my family in the car. I've had my mum, and I'm just trying to think of the sale. My mum and 3 daughters are such in the car because they have 3 girls.
Yeah.
And we were driving along, and we got to a section where there was roadworks. So we were just about to slow down. At the side of me, my daughter went, "Look up at that! Look at that!" And I'm driving. I'll wait till I slow down. So I just slowed down and looked up there, and it was a frozen plane. It's stuck. She noticed it. My mum noticed it, and my other 2 daughters. So there was 5 in the car who've seen a plane just frozen over houses in a housing estate. It's not like hovering. People say it's an illusion. It's hovering. I know when something is hovering because you can't get
glitched.
Yeah, glitch. You can't get glitch. Hovering, you like and you can see it because it was quite a blustery day. It was just stopped, frozen in the air. And I'm like, and I could hear my mum in the background screaming, "Who's got the phone on?" And I was like, "I can't," because there's a cop car behind me. The Rozzers. And my daughter said, "Oh, I've got my camera," and she took a picture. Now, what was funny is it was only a picture, and then when we got to the destination, I said, "Let me have a look." She didn't realize it was a live photo. So she actually caught it like an EasyJet. But what's funny, it was an EasyJet. And then when you look on the picture, it's like black.
Yeah.
But it was just frozen. So, you know, it's like a moment where you've had a full car with people in with you, and you've also a frozen plane over a housing estate. No plane will hover, a commercial jet or whatever.
No, fall out of the air. Yeah. Just fall out of the air. Yeah.
And I'm like that. And people are saying to me when they did the video, "When you get out of the car," so I can't hold a mile up queue of cars, cop cars and that. But we all stood there, and I drove off, and we watched it as we went. I did a video on it. It's called Glitch in the Matrix. But that was one of them times when you get back from your trip and you went, "What did we actually see?" And you're like, "Wow, did we see that?" And we're like going back looking at the phone because it's alive. If you put your finger on it, everything else moves. And you saw this plane frozen in the sky. And I'm like, people have talked about this, and I've been laughing my ass off saying, "These guys, what are they on? Please tell me what drug you're on, because that is taking it a bit too far." Then, lo and behold, I see it. My mum sees it, and 3 of my daughters see it. So you have a car full of people saw a plane frozen, not hovering, not do nothing over a housing estate.
That's mental, isn't it?
And you're like, it's all on now. Game. I'm looking into every topic that I thought was ridiculous, but I didn't say it out loud to people.
Oh, the glitches are increasing as well.
Yeah.
So you've had the people are saying to me that they're definitely increasing. You know, so half the sky looks super HD. That other half doesn't even look like it's been rendered properly. It's got no definition. It's all off. Yeah, I've taken photographs to try and examine it, and it's just there's no feature. There's no formation.
Yeah. It's made me get into photograph. Obviously, I'm not great, but I got a camera and I started taking pictures, and like months ago, because I posted it on my social media, and a lot of people who are my friends on there would have seen it. I took a picture at night, got the moon, and I got a cube. And it can't be a cloud because it's actually so straight, and you can see it, a cube in the sky. And I'm like, just in front of the moon. It's like you see some weird shit. It's like a dead pixel or something. I mean, I've done videos on, I believe the firmament is liquid crystal because it can have 3 states of matter, gas, liquid, and solid. And it can create electricity because piezoelectricity. The pressure from the waters above on the dome create free electric. And that made me then look into
Scalar waves.
Yeah, have you heard about spin ice? There's a thing called spin ice. They're making it artificial in the lab. It's where ice can become magnetic. And if you think about it, if we are, because
vortex in it, and we call them atoms.
You're talking about a little bit of ice circle around, just moving millimeters, creating so much power.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, no, that's feasible. That's doable. That's 100% doable. Yeah.
I did a video on that, and the guy did an experiment with copper wires, and it always does the same image. Where it's like 2 and it goes into 1. It looks like owl eyes, and it's the same. It's what happens in this realm. So these things just blow me away, and you're like, I keep reiterating, if you don't look at anything, you don't get to find the gold. What I call information, or
same.
You know what I mean?
Juice, or I call it the nectar. It was the gold a few years ago.
You've elevated yourself to juice.
Yeah, no, I'm not off juice because it's like people might think it's something to do with orange juice, 33. So I'm like onto nectar now, but that might be associated with the nectar of the gods, which is them again.
Exactly, and we're talking about sound and spells. People don't realize sound can create heat, magnetism. It can do anything.
Oil water with sound. Yeah, no. But what we was thinking, on fact of British concerning the dome is a vibrational quality holding the water dome in place, and it could go in sync with what you just said, the piezoelectric forces as a process. Some hum or some, something we're not picking up on, but maybe we are. This here, and because you can basically keep water in stasis with a sound. Basically it can be removable, and a movable barrier through sound. So that would work and keep it in place as long as that, like, obviously hum didn't stop. It would come down. But they say 7 layers as well to the dome, and they're all like, some people say spiritual realms, and some people say like layers, the structure of this thing. But I think it's
thinking, doesn't it? I mean, that's what we're for. We're here to think. If you love research, and obviously some people don't want to think. What I mean?
Cutting edge stuff, Paul. But still, you do, and then we do. It's cutting edge stuff. No one else is out there thinking these things. I like, as being a researcher, it's rare for men to have original thoughts.
Yeah.
They either read somebody else or look at somebody else's thoughts. And that way you're stifling your own consciousness, creativity, because you're not feeding your own. So, that's what, I know you're like me. I was just doing my own journey, like
the saying, go with the flow.
Go with the flow. I do it. And there's the watery theme again. But flow, what is flow? I think it's wolf in reverse, isn't it?
People, hopefully you're enjoying this, guys.
How about them? Flat thumbs or flat thumbs.
It's crazy because, like we said, people are just joining.
People were there, Paul.
It's like Martin has always said to me in the past, we'll do something, and like half a year goes past. It's because we're doing videos. You know what I mean? I don't notice what's I do now. You know what I mean? People have to tell me, Paul, please stick your head up and take it a little bit in the world because you're gonna miss it go by. And so at the minute, I try and not spend too much time on the computer, family and whatnot. And I'm seeing all these other things now. But yeah, it is what it is, guys. And like I said, we need to be together.
Yeah.
We can't agree on everything. Yes, we are unique, but we also share the same frequency, right? But we like to be unique. What's wrong with being unique? It's really funny that when you're at school, they all want you to be unique, and then when you become unique, you're a troublemaker.
I know.
And you're a critical thinker. And they don't want, they don't want this and they don't want that. I mean, I did that video not long ago. Have you looked into the Habsburgs?
Yeah, the dynasty, the German dynasty. Yeah, some about them. I posted, and I've looked at some of their, I guess, family books, if you like, of their heraldry and their architecture and stuff. So yeah, I've looked into it.
Because the Holy Roman Empire, the Frederick III,
Yeah, Frederick
with
III.
Habsburg,
Yeah, that's right.
he's the one it came up with. Well, not came up with it. It says it's first got noticed that his motto or monogram or device was AEIOU.
Oh, isn't that interesting?
So he's actually called it a device. So
Wow.
that then gets my brain going, device, what's this device doing? It's a spell. And he was in power in the Great Vowel Shift.
What
So
about
you
the
know
word
what I mean?
device? It's to device.
Yep. It's just crazy, isn't it? I mean, even if you don't even go into the word and you look up the actual so-called meaning, you know, their meaning, you look at it, device, anything made or adapted for a particular purpose, a plan, method, or a trick with a particular aim.
Wow.
A form of words intruded to produce a particular effect in speech or literary work, or a weapon.
Yeah. By his own device. Yeah, I see that one. Yeah, there's how many meanings for the one word?
Yeah.
Also,
Why-
with words, you can have one word that means two things, even though the
Yeah.
words sound exactly the same. It mean the same vibrationally too. So there's a lot of them.
So
out
you
there.
have this. I just did a video, the Great Vowel Shift, AEIOU, and there was originally 7 or maybe more. I reckon there was more, but they settled on 7, and then in modern era it got changed to 5. In this period, where we have all this fake science.
Well, I know the V turned up in the Middle Ages, and then they had the VV, and then the W turned up, and it wasn't about before. You know, with this, you know, it must have been this vowel shift. You know, they have the V's and then the double B's, which is upside down. Is the M's as well. So.
And obviously, I tied it to not everything to Janus because I don't do that. I'm objective, but obviously something was to do with Janus. And people were asking me even today, when did the I and the J get swapped? The Great Vowel Shift, 1524 it was. So it was in a period where they changed. They used to have it loosely I and J, and obviously we have I and J on maps. And and I've said to people, instead of being Jesus, it could be I and us or Jesus as these letters on the map. Because the main cartographers of the time were the Genoese and obviously the Venetians, but the Genoese were famous for it. Like I said, the first guy to find America was North America. Was it Paul Cabot or Cabot?
Yeah, well, was he a Genoese?
Yeah, Genoese.
Columbus is.
And Genoese, yeah, Columbus was. He owed money to the Bank of St. George. The first central dodgy Rothschild bank was created in Genoa. And capitalism.
Not surprised. I've been to Genoa. They got like a thing commemorating, you know, got loads of things commemorating Christmas.
And that's where I found Janus in the cathedral. It says about Genoa, founded by Janus, the prodigy of giants. It says
something in the name as well, you know, with the name of the city. Do you know it's the Gen at the front, isn't it? So it's like the Gen or the Gene for like
genes were invented there supposedly. I didn't know that, but do you know what I mean? But that's what brought me to it. In the fact that when we're talking about resets and plagues, you're talking about Genoa, genome, Genoa, genocide, right? These guys brought plague in.
Wow, I missed that one.
Genoese colony, the Crimea. They had all the Crimea. That's when it came through the steppes, through China or whatever area, Mongolia. They brought it through from that region on their boat.
Fair enough.
He dropped off near Venetian, and then he went through Genoa, which is the gateway to Europe, and that's how the plague come through Europe on the Genoese. So, and they're Janus, and then you're looking at the CERN and all that, and the Goddard Tunnel. The Goddard Tunnel finishes at Genoa. That's where it goes to.
Oh, you're joking! I never knew that.
Yeah.
Oh, does it? Gosh.
So you know what I mean? This little town put me on a journey from researching Tartaria, and I found Janus, and I thought, yeah, Janus, January. I know that. Everyone knows near enough that. And then, boomf, years have gone, and it's like I've mastered. Well, they can't master. We never master. Like I said, people even send me stuff all the time. I don't know, but you're talking about obviously Venetian Genoa at the time, and then you find out the Noah link, and then you find out all this. You can see the big boys, and in this bank, the Bank of St. George, the first bank, 1408 or 1208, I can't remember now. And they started, and they needed permission off 4 people from the Council of the Ancients. It's called 4 people from the Council of the Ancients. Who are these ancients? So this banking system, capitalism started there, and the Council of the Ancients said, yeah, well, we're going to let you do that. So then they left there, obviously the banking system, it went there to Geneva again, Geneva.
Oh, yeah, boom.
Yeah, and then they went to London, the city of London, the same flag. And you have 13 dragons, and there's only 12 now, but there's 13 dragons all around London with the flag on of Genoa.
Is that so?
Yeah. And it's the banking system
everywhere now for things with Gino on the front. Dexy's Midnight Runner song, Gino.
So you can see how I get excited about talking about Genoa and the link with Janus, because that's how I found him.
Yeah, that tunnel is really evil, isn't it? I covered the opening of it. Oh my days, that was such an evil thing. Yeah.
And people are then saying, oh, look at the horn thing. Now I know it's Janus because he's turning us. He's the horn god. So they actually had him at the parade doing all his...
I've seen it, yeah, that was him. That was it. So sinister.
Yeah, so it's crazy. And they had 2 screens for the duality and all the stuff. They had the time. Remember when they did the time? It's always at 10:10 or 10:08. It's always that symbol. They always do it on the clocks. Advertisement, you'll always see it at the same time. They'll say it's symmetry, but it's not. It's just so much deeper than that. Yeah.
10:08, 23 degrees.
Yeah.
Same as the Masonic compass.
Yep. And then you know who basically invented the cardinal directions, because it's named cardinal directions. It is Cardia, who is the female Janus.
Crazy.
So you're getting this one guy who's like CV. It's like, what shall I be of in charge today? Oh, I'll have that. And he's just going down the checklist. And that sometimes it's wow and exciting. And sometimes it's, oh my God. Because he's like, why is this guy in charge or involved in everything? It's like they want to incant a spell, you know what I mean, to get his energy. If he's in charge of gateways and portals, he's a janitor. He has the keys. Keys sounds like frequencies.
Man, the key.
Yeah.
The key.
So you've got to appease him of sorts, or is that why they do it? You know what I mean? So we can be here forever talking about that, but I'll just give a quick shout out to the chat because I am sorry. I mean, so every day I get someone talking against me at the screen because normally I go solo, and that's why I wanted to do more lives and different things. So Steve Wheatley, my good friend, who is the guy with the beer jar. You have James, Sally, Ginger Grin, Annabelle Echo, Port Carley, Simon Foster, Alva Billy, Darren Cole, Brian Evans, Hippie Shake, Susan Catchy, Plane Drifter, Mike, Martin Ellen, Flat Fact, Ghosty 333. Hopefully everyone's enjoyed it. I've not ignored you. It's just, you know what I mean? I've just been engrossed in talking, so I apologise. Matt James, Simon Foster said, God, I'm not used to scrolling up so far. TYY, believe in love. Anyone got any questions for Martin or myself?
Squirrel Sniper.
Who else? Anyone? Carol Watson, Dad's Codsbine or Cosbean, the Jar Soldier 1. God, there's a loads in here. Thanks, guys, for coming over. You know, Vertec. Appreciate this, guys. Hopefully you stay and see how crazy I am. If not, it's been a good blast. You've enjoyed it.
You're in good company.
If you don't subscribe, I'll just hunt you down. I know some hackers and that, and I'll make your life misery. I'm only joking. But you know what I mean? Stay it. You'll enjoy it. You know what I mean? We're a good bunch in here. We talk about everything. You know what I mean? That's what I forget half the time. ASOS is in the chat. Hopefully he's enjoying himself watching Lotus film. He's in Hawaii. Yeah. So have you got? Do you want to talk about Martin?
I got so much on, Paul. It's hard to even put into words and determine my life.
I don't like give away any secrets of your next videos or such. But if you briefly want to talk about, you know,
right. Well, what I'm looking into, apart from other aspects, I'll be talking about on my next vlog, which will be historically related. I'm going with a narrative nicely, and some more of them crazy stone things we've been finding. I've been looking into esokinesis, which I find fascinating. It's like a subject that I've really found fascinating all my life is telekinesis and psychic abilities, okay, or abilities in general. And in this is a simulation. These things should be obtainable. The lamas or in the high Tibetan plateau, they seem to manage these feats. So through a vibrational change, meditating, vibration, everything else, to be able to practice some of these psychic abilities, or projecting themselves in two places at once, or remote viewing, and all of these are lesser abilities. So with esokinetics, it is the ability to alter reality, like completely, like stop time even, or anything, making the user have godlike abilities. So I thought that is absolutely fascinating field, and it's the history of it as well. Apparently, so I was wondering
now when you're talking about kinesis and all that,
what's happened.
Scanners. Remember scanners?
Yeah, of course I remember scanners. Like a thumb. Yeah, man.
Well, go on, carry on. Yes, we've always been fascinated by it. Have you seen that? Is it the men that stare at goats or something?
I watched it about 2 weeks ago, mate. I watched it about 2 weeks ago. Absolutely fantastic film. I loved it.
It's crazy, though, isn't it? How you watched all the same things and different things, and you look at film differently. You're seeing good shit everywhere. You'll watch a film that you never thought much of, and now you're like, oh wow, how did I?
Now I think they're speaking to us for this time. Some of these films, it's like they never made no sense before, but now it actually makes sense with these times that we're living in now. It's like they're all aimed at this time. All of the films, there was something underlying in them all. It's been an agenda with the movie since the beginning. How long that's been running.
I want to ask. Is there some research you've done that you've been proud of?
Yes, there is.
Not necessarily what people are thinking, who've watched it, but you thought, wow, that is one I'm really, really proud that I've made.
Well, the reverse engineering of antiquity and finding that it's sort of encoded and the true shape of this realm electromagnetically. I did in a series called The Greatest Secret Never Told, and I wrote a book about it as well. So that, and just human battery banks, circuit board cities. Oh my God, how much has happened over the years?
Just on that, before I forget, in Westworld and in the old churches, they do the labyrinth, which actually looks like a circuit board as well.
Yeah, I know.
That's crazy, and that's what I love about that program. I mean, what I'm proud of, some people might not saw it, is the research I did on the sacrum and the sacral area, in your groin or your pelvic, and how it relates to a lot of the secret society symbols, 100%. And obviously the tail. I mean, if you look at the tail, the coccyx, actually, people always talk about how Mount Meru is in us, which is like the Indian version. That's what they say, and it looks like if you look at the coccyx in the video, it's actually identical to a picture found in Neolithic of Mount Meru, how it's structured like that. And that's in the secret area. They call it the sacrum. We have a tailbone.
Makes perfect sense.
And then they have, where they do that on their eyes.
Yeah.
Like the
whole Taurus fields. To me, all is Taurus fields. We think of Mount Meru, okay. It shows on all these ancient depictions as an upside down pyramid. And underneath it is the South Pole. We think the inertia plane is 12 kilometers below our feet. Okay, resonating all of the time, holding the realm in place, holding the dome above us, Mount Meru. Sorry, I forgot where I was going again.
The frozen plains in northwest where I live. There's funny, something I have again, because I do play games a lot, because I like to take my mind. I look after my mum as well. So in my spare time,
I did that up 2 years ago. I did it for about 3 years, something like that.
And there's a game I play, and it has a pyramid on it, and it's really, really. You want to have a look at this for the information that's in this, and people can see.
Yeah, that's it. So that, okay, but it's impossibly big, and it's at the North Pole. Okay, right. So it's a magnet. It's a north and south magnet. Okay, and they're creating these, that or that. And human, every day you look at the atom, they say it looks like a solar system. Okay, and it's got the electronic fog looking like planets going around you, protons and neutrons, etc. So I'm thinking this is like north and self-opposing magnets and with torus fields, and this works for us as well. So if you imagine that torus field on us is how it looks, because we operate exactly the same way, and out to the structure of this place exactly.
Really funny that you talk about the torus
Very
field.
hot,
You're doing that,
very top.
and it's you're representing the horns, Taurus, Taurus the bull. You know what I mean? So it's the horns. And anyway, in that game, what's funny is they call the enemy. There's an enemy. You know, there's always an enemy in a game, but they call the hiss, and it's sound, it's frequency. And to combat this, they have little circles on them like that look like, you know, like World War II and 1 sound deflectors.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, and it so intrigued me because they like to put all this stuff in games, in movies, and if you use it to research, and sound that. So yeah, I'll give you permission to play games, watch movies, guys. This is where they hide a lot of the stuff that gives you the spark. If you are just sitting here contemplating, which is good, and you're reading books, which is good, it's always good. Sometimes you need a kick up the arse or some other stimuli to get you going. It's just how some people.
Oh, I gotta read. I read late at night. That's my last thing. Probably makes me nice and tired. Very relaxing reading.
I got put off reading, and I'll be honest, because I was dyslexic, and I'm only starting now reading. You know what I mean? Because I'm getting the confidence to read. Because I was sick of. I used to get angry with myself. Oh, what's this word?
I just keep practicing. Just keep reading, and then eventually you'll just be able to overview a page, and all of the information will just go in, and you'll just be lost in the words. It just creates like a dimension, a realm of words that you can visualize. Some of it, sights,
I can't remember the
smells,
book I'm reading at the minute. Is you know about you know, in the old medieval churches, all the hieroglyphs and all the carvings and stuff. That's what I'm reading at the minute, because I have a friend, and I went up and I went to Barrow Abbey, Furness Abbey, brilliant place.
Yeah,
and that's like actually floating on oak piles. You know what I mean? Oak underneath, because obviously it's there and it's floating on that. But there's a place in it, you know, where they used to keep the offerings or any so-called relics.
Reliquary.
And you put your head in, and it's like you went to another place. You heard a different sound, and the energy you heard on your neck just went,
wow,
like that. So I'm meaning to. Well, I will go back on that. But what's funny is I then did a video on it and did research on it, and obviously people will believe, yeah, Holy Grail is blood, Holy Grail is this, or machine, or whatever. In history, they said the Holy Grail supposedly went there on its way up to obviously the Abbey in Scotland. It's just brilliant, because this place, this Abbey, is in the middle of nowhere, and it's the second biggest in the UK. Why would this place be in the middle of nowhere with this type of place? Honestly, it was huge. It's just wow. And I always like going back to things now. I'm seeing.
I can't believe I got a mental block for the name of that Abbey. Which
Furness Abbey.
I know the association with the Knights Templar and everything else.
And the Cistercians.
Yeah, and the Holy Grail is supposed to be in one column. Well, all of them carvings in Roswell Chapel, they can be interpreted as music. Somebody's actually played it in there. And it's just a really unusual musical pattern. But there's somebody asked me to research music. You know that. You know, you showed that quote earlier. That is a science of technasmia. You know, and this can be augmented by orchestras, which are symphonies. Well, there's a Phoenician thing as well. Symphony, chamber orchestras, this sort of thing, and giant organs, which are good for your organs, and everything else which says org in it is vibration. We'll do that. And these are like machines. Churches were machines, technasmia machines. I guess they could have healed inside these buildings. But definitely out of the somatic pattern windows into the environment. You know, when you don't hear church bells the way you used to. At one time, it would be bells to go to work, bells in school. Yes, we used to have ding-a-ling-a-ling to get in. Remember that after break, and all of these, you know, bells in our culture, and they've taken them all out. During World War II, they never rung a bell apparently till El Alamein, and then our first victory, we need to ring all the bells in England and Wales now. And then apparently you're all run. It's supposed to be absolutely beautiful. But then they stopped it and they don't do it again. You imagine that, all of the church bells in all of the country ringing.
Yeah, you just get me thinking about the bells, and obviously it's bell Baal and bell, you know what I mean? So it's so
Definitely,
strange how you look at these things. Guys, I'm gonna go in a minute.
Oh, thanks for the invite, Paul.
Because I'm like a vampire. When it gets dark, I swither away, and I've got, like I said, I'm a carer to me. I just get so much time to do certain things. But it's been brilliant, guys. And honestly, I can't say thank you for mine to come on. Originally, it was going to be with Roots, but obviously she does want to do live. But bless her, please check her out. I've put the link before, but if you go onto my page, there is some featured ones is on there with James and that. So please, everyone that's in the chat, thank you.
Big shout to Chair Soldier in chat.
Yeah, all the people that came over from Martin's channel. Hopefully, I'll see you. Hope you say, check my catalogue out. I say my catalogue, what my videos. I do so much stuff, and you'll see if you like Martin's site stuff, you like mine, because some of the original people that Martin told come over a year ago are still here. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of people I've met through Martin's channel. Yet this is the first time we've actually done a video. It's like, I'll talk next week, and like I said, years goes past and stuff because we're busy, you know what I mean? So I do appreciate it. Thanks for coming on. And it's his birthday too.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I forgot about that.
So all of
that was an awesome chat. Thank you.
All of the days we picked, and it's your birthday.
Suits me fine. Thanks for nothing else, brother. The Truva community is my fam, you know?
Oh, she still is, Roots. Thanks, Roots.
Thanks, Roots.
Yeah, guys, please, I always say it. I'm here and I need the support. You know what I mean? And I can't do it without you. I really, really do appreciate it. Sure. And please keep in the comments coming. And you want to say it in the chat, you've said it, leave a comment and I'll try and get back to you. If you want to email me, it's the Blacksheep Researcher at yahoo.com. But yeah, thank you for everyone. And I always do, anyone that comes, remember, don't forget to smile. We need to smile.
Why so serious?
Yeah, they're trying to hide it now with the face masks. We need to smile like that. Not a cheesy.
Brilliant. It's a brilliant counter attack. You know, they don't want us to be visible or smiling or even happy. You know, it's like, what's he so happy about? How very dairy. What?
What's wrong with you? There's something wrong with you. You smile, and I always smile. I always say hello to people, even if they got a mask on. Do you know what I mean, guys? Just share the love. Right, guys, take care. Remember, always wear a smile, and please check out Martin's channel. If you don't know him, I'll put a link once this is up and done, so you can go over and see what all the info he's got to offer. Right, guys, take care, and I'll